I'm Dr. Michele Iono. This is Advancing Athletics Technique Tutorial.
Welcome to Club Nasty. Double T's review the 3 keys to success for movements. Master these, master the movement. BDI will show you how. DDC will tell you why. Give us flowers by just watching to the end. That's what helps us best. So says Mama YouTube. But grazie for any show of support. Andiamo a fondo. I gave you 3 key components to think about. First, pelvis position. Your hip is a ball and socket, and so by controlling your pelvis position, that's going to ensure that you're not allowing the socket to roll forward and put pressure on the ball. A lot of people can get groin pain, anterior hip pain because of that. The second thing that I talked about is the glute squeeze. This is probably the single most underutilized and misunderstood concept of this kind of stretch. The issue is that these muscles are really stiff and really strong. You want to be very mindful that you're squeezing your glute, because if you just Google the anatomy of the hip, you'll see that the hip flexor and the quad attach to the front of the hip through here, and then your glute attaches to the back of the hip right about here. So what happens is when you go to stretch this really strong, awesome quad and hip flexor, what you end up happening is you can actually start to pull that ball, the femoral head, forward out of the socket. Not only is that, of course, not good, but then also can be associated with some symptoms. So by you squeezing the glute, it actually grabs a hold of the backside of that femoral head and holds it in place in the socket properly where it should be. The third component is that leg position. So if anything, you actually can get a better stretch if your leg is out here, which you'll sometimes see people do. It doesn't have to be tucked in underneath. And in fact, as you start to pull your leg in, you'll start to notice an increase in the intensity of that stretch. But you don't want to automatically go there because of the final thing, which is doing a glute activation exercise. The issue with not doing a glute activation exercise is you're not going to be able to save your work. Back in the day, when we used Microsoft Office and Microsoft Word, you had to type and then you had to hit the save button. Now with cloud saving, that's not a thing anymore. Well, that was the best example that I ever heard, or analogy, for why it's important to pair these stretches with some of these other activation exercises. Because now that we just got done opening your hip up, how do we keep it from not just going right back to where it was before, but instead, now all of a sudden your glutes are staying more active and resisting that positive tension that you feel in the front of your hip. So make sure you include some of that kind of stuff in order to make the fruits of your labor not spoil as soon as you get done with the exercise. Again, thanks for finishing the video. And if you have any questions, leave a comment, reach out any other way. Good luck. Hope this helps.